Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Another year without a Champions League for Pep and Man City, and Man City are in crisis. I did a video towards the start of the season saying Man City in crisis, and I got loads of Man City fans who go back and look at it and go, we're not in crisis, Goldbridge got it wrong. But context is key, and the reality is Man City are a club in crisis because they are spending millions and millions of pounds every year trying to win a Champions League with Pep Guardiola, and they can't do it. And how long is it going to take them to do it, even if they will do it? And look, they'll probably, hopefully, win the Premier League. I bloody hope Man City win the Premier League, because if they don't, Liverpool are probably going to do a historical quadruple, which will floor me and many other Manchester United fans. But we're talking Man City here, and they are a club in crisis. They are trying to win a Champions League, and they can't do it, despite having the best manager in the world and infinite resources financially. They can't build a team to win the Champions League. And why is that? Why is it? Why can't they do it? I look at them last night, they are a minute away, and they could say, well, you know what, Grealish scores and we're in the final. But would you have beat Liverpool in the final? I just think Liverpool would have beat you. I think Liverpool have won numerous Champions Leagues. They know how to do it. And I think Pep, in that game, would you have put it past him to put Ederson up front and play De Bruyne in goal? He just overthinks things. And the pressure on Pep Guardiola gets more and more, and Man City more and more now, that those players are going to start to have it in their heads. We're that close to a final and we didn't do it. We were in a final last year and we didn't do it. Are we getting further away from the prize, or will we eventually do it? And I think that for Pep, look, what a manager he is. He won the Champions League at Barcelona, but he didn't do it at Bayern Munich with an open checkbook, and he's not done it at Man City with an open checkbook. And I think you've got to look at why. And one of the big things for me is that Man City, I don't watch a lot of Man City because I find them quite, the way they play football is good, but I find it quite hard to watch because I'm not a Man City fan. I don't want them to do well as a Man United fan. And the way that they play football is quite unpalatable for somebody who wants them not to win. They dominate possession, they grind teams down, they score good goals, they're a very, very good side. But what you don't get against Man City is you don't get many teams who actually attack Man City. We get told about how great Ederson is and how great Diaz is and how great their defence is. Is it that great? It's good. Is it great? I don't think it is that great, because I look at Real Madrid last night and I look at a Man City side that thinks they're in the final, who fall asleep in 3 minutes. You could say in 10 minutes if you take into account the penalty at the start of extra time. They fall asleep when the pressure's on. And how many times during a season are Man City's defence under genuine pressure? Now, you could say the same about Liverpool, but Liverpool play this ridiculous high line that their defence is always switched on, it's always ready. Man City play football in a different way. They dominate possession, they play high up the pitch, and they don't actually have to deal with that many crosses into the box, that much pressure. I mean, I guarantee there's hardly any time in a season where Ederson is under pressure for longer than, a couple of shots, maybe a minute. You compare that to a keeper like David De Gea this year, where he's constantly under pressure. And I just think that Man City's defence last night, really, really cost them. They switched off at the key points. And yeah, Pep's game management we'll speak about in a minute. But what Real Madrid did really well is they just went, you know what, we're Real Madrid. We're the greatest club in European club history. We are going out in the semi-final in the Bernabeu, and we are going to go out fighting, and we're going to have a go. And yeah, it might be in the 90th minute, but there's going to be some stoppage time. We're going to have a go. And they went for it. And Man City just didn't react to that pressure, because I don't think they're used to that pressure. And as I said, how many teams actually put Man City under that level of pressure? And in the Premier League, you're probably going to be okay. Over a 38-game season, you're hardly going to be under pressure. You keep your possession, you create your chances, you get your points, you win the title. Potentially, that's going to happen again. But in the Champions League, you are going to come up against teams that are going to go, you know what, sod this, we're going to go for it. And sometimes that might be okay, but when you've taken off De Bruyne, Jesus and Mahrez, you set yourself up quite defensively. I think they walked into what was inevitable, that Real Madrid would go for it, which is what they've been doing all tournament, and Man City fell short of that. So, look, they have got an identity crisis. They are in a crisis, Man City. How do you win the Champions League if you are Man City and Pep Guardiola? Well, look, they'll buy Erling Haaland in the summer. they'll just try and get to a point where they're so good that they're blasting teams away, and they win the title, they win the Champions League, and maybe it will happen next year. But on the other hand, maybe Real Madrid will be better next year. Maybe Liverpool will be better next year. Maybe Chelsea will be better next year. Maybe teams are going to get better and Man City are going to get worse. Because Man City are also carrying, and Pep is also carrying, this thing in his head now. It's the worst thing that could have happened for Man City in the last 2 Champions Leagues is they lost the final, and then the following year they lose a semi-final that they've basically won in the 90th minute, and then they lose. And that is going to play on your mind. So how do Man City win the Champions League? I think you knock it down and start again, to be honest. I don't think it's a good idea to persist with the same set of players that have been part of the failure of the last 2 years. On the other hand, they might win 2 Premier Leagues in a row. So where's the balance? They're the best team in the Premier League, but they can't be the best team in Europe. And I think the priority is to be the best team in Europe, and I think he might need to knock it down and rebuild again. Now, has Pep got the stomach for that, or is he going to try and get that elusive Champions League with this team in the next 2 years before he sods off? I personally think he might need 3 or 4 new players. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Man City do, because have no doubts about it, Man City's obsession and Pep Guardiola's obsession is to win the Champions League. He'd give that Premier League up in a heartbeat just to be in the final. But look, as I sit here now, and this might become a famous clip in some ways in relation to what I do, I might get proved wrong. I just don't think Man City are going to win the Champions League next year. I really don't think they'll win it next year. I think they are damaged goods, and mentally I think that they're struggling when it comes to this tournament. And unless he goes and pulls off a madness in the summer, I just don't see it. They've got very good players, but their vulnerability at the back has been exposed by Real Madrid, and I think teams know that you can get at them if you set up in the right way. So yeah, I hope they win the Premier League, but is the Premier League enough for Man City when they're obsessed by the Champions League? It has to go down as a season of failure. And Man City fans are going, how can it be a failure? How can it be a failure? Well, I'll tell you about success. I'm going to, History Channel, UK Gold, I'll accept. But this happened to United a lot, and any United fan who remembers it will back me up on this. We would get knocked out in the Champions League quarter-final, semi-final, whatever. And we'd go on and win the league. But the season would feel a bit flat, because you wanted to win the Champions League and the Premier League, and then you'd get knocked out of the Champions League, you'd have 3 or 4 games left in the Premier League, which you'd win, but it'd be like, really wanted to do well in the Champions League, and that's how Man City are going to be feeling. Anyway, look, get your thoughts in below, make sure you smash a like on the video. It's going to be a cracking final, Liverpool against Real Madrid. Can they do it again? Shout out to Real Madrid as well. Forget oil from Russia. We should be getting it from Real Madrid, because they've beaten Chelsea, they've beaten Man City, and they've beaten PSG. Real Madrid, if they win the Champions League, PSG, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, that is one of the hardest runs I've ever seen. I don't know who they played in the group stage, but what a run to the final from a team that's nowhere near Real Madrid's best side. They've done fantastically well, so let's give a shout out to them as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you very soon.